friends, welcome to MCM London. Here I am, kind of cosplaying as somebody from the Alien universe. Now this is the first time I've been to the Excel Centre in about 3 years. This is the first MCM London that I've been to since 2001, I think, when I was here with the UK Garrison. We've not been back in a long time, and I kind of felt like MCM London was kind of going downhill a little bit, so I thought I'd come and do a bit of an honest review on Comic Con today. But the thing is, I've already walked through the hall. You arrive at the far end and then you kind of come down to the front, and I've already seen into some of the halls, and actually I'm already quite impressed with what I see. So I'd love you to join me. Today's Friday. Today's one of the quietest days of MCM London from my experience, but it is incredibly busy already. They've sold out for Saturday and nearly sold out for Sunday. I was able to get quite a cheap ticket today. It's only £22, so Friday is obviously not as busy, and I only booked this a few days ago, so it's not as busy on a Friday. So if you're thinking about coming, Friday is definitely the day to come. The queues weren't too bad today at all. But come, explore with me MCM London. Let's do an honest review. Is MCM London really worth the money? Is it worth coming to? And let's see what we think. So here we go, MCM London. There's two big halls, S1, N1, South and North. Let's Ip Dip, Sky Blue, who's on Not You. Let's do South 1. I don't know if that's the one to go to. Really interesting to see these in the wild here at Comic Con. The first supposedly retractable lightsaber, you press a button and the blade comes in and out. I just wonder, you know, how will they fare in a fight? But actually watching these guys, if you're a kid with a lightsaber with your mates in the garden, actually they're pretty good. They're no dueling lightsaber, but they're certainly hanging out with your mates in the garden and having a good Star Wars lightsaber duel. So I'm actually quite impressed by this. I'm not sure the price. Oh, here we go. Power saber green, £45. Actually, my first lightsaber cost me more than that. Back in 1997, it was about 50 quid. So. Made my way into the other hall. Actually massive. It's the gaming centre of it all. You've got the food in here, you've got the gaming, but this got Lego. You can see in the far distance. This is, I would say already, the MCM London is bigger than what I remember. A lot more content, a lot more people to get signatures and signings with. A lot more going on, so I'm quite impressed. I've seen lightsaber training before, but check this out. It's like a medieval swording guild kind of thing, and people are kind of being trained in medieval fighting. There's a guy over here. I'm not sure what he's dressed as, but it looks like a freaky, half-dead goat presiding over the game.
Well, they're a fully custom touchscreen console.
Something I've not seen here before is lots of D&D stuff, Dungeons and Dragons. We're in an exhibition of 50 years of Dungeons and Dragons this year. We've got a really nice big booth where there's a signing with some of the artists and creators. So it's a beautiful little display that they've got going on. So that was MCM London, lots of footage for you to see there. What's my initial feeling? My honest review, is it worth it? My honest review is it's a heck of a lot better than it used to be. So the last time I came, I felt like there was lots of stalls, repetition, selling Pokemon plushies, and it was really not for me. And it seems to be a lot of stalls doing that same thing over and over and over. I would say this definitely feels like 40% bigger than the last time I came. And bearing in mind, it was that kind of weird pandemic kind of season the last time we came. But I would say the stalls have certainly upped their game. I actually picked up a vintage Rancor, which I'm over the moon about, Star Wars vintage toys. There's lots of vintage toys. One of the key centerpieces of a Comic Con has got to be the comics. And I felt that was a big thing that was missing in the past. There was a lot of vintage, first edition, comics knocking around, which I just thought was a really nice kind of, at a Comic-Con you've got to have comics, and if comics aren't there, that's a major problem. Now obviously there was lots of artists, there's always been lots of artists that have come, but are we selling vintage comics? And the answer was definitely yes. There was a lot of that stuff. So my honest review is it was really good. There was lots of, it actually surprisingly good, and lots of things that really lifted it and kind of made it feel like it was quality. I really do feel like they're missing some stuff still. Movies. I remember coming and seeing the costumes for Superman versus Batman. I remember seeing the costumes for Rogue One. I remember seeing the costumes for Black Panther. There was none of that stuff. No costumes for any movies. There was a massive gap for films, I would say. Costumes for TVs were missing as well. There wasn't even a good solid Doctor Who stall. So I felt there was a big gap there. People signing, lots of people signing, but I didn't know many of them. Many of them felt B or C grade signers. I could be completely wrong and oblivious to who they were, but none of the shows that I would watch. I remember when we had the crew from Red Dwarf all here. It was excellent. I didn't recognise anybody. So I would say that's an interesting one. The people that they're getting to sign, are they really the quality that they need to be getting for a London Comic Con? Let me just talk about money for a second. So it cost me £22 to get in plus a £2 booking fee. I couldn't get in till 12 because it was only a partial day ticket for £22. If you wanted to come for the whole day, it was more. Friday's the cheaper day. It was so busy in there that I could not get round, and I felt that I missed a lot because I was just shuffle. So for my £22, I'm not going to complain, but if I paid for a full day pass and I'd paid that kind of £40 for a ticket, I think I'd be quite frustrated with the sheer quantity. The aisles between things are very narrow, which means you are kind of shuffling along in between them. You're being knocked about all the time. I think if you pay £40 for a ticket and it's that busy, I think you'd be quite disappointed. I think you'll feel quite frustrated that you paid so much money and there was just so many people you couldn't get around. It does feel like a market stall, and I think that's one of the things that really frustrates me, is that it feels like you're at a market and people are selling their wares and you paid a lot of money to come in, and all you're doing is seeing people sell more stuff to you. You're not seeing anything for your money. Now, there was a couple of talks I went to, one on getting into the gaming industry and one to get into the comic book industry. I thought they were really interesting, but they're not the primary thing that seems to be happening.